Welcome to this week's countdown for Whirl. To Whirl, what am I doing? So, the best part I want to tell you tonight is that all the lines have been collected. All the live footage has been collected for the most part. There probably will be some stuff in the middle that I need to refilm or film again, but what do you expect? I had no cameraman. I just had a mirror. Anyway, the video is now being constructed together through lines and everything like that. Any last-minute lines are being collected and things are being done. With that said, Whirl is beginning post-productions immediately. Stay tuned. Greetings and welcome to a new episode of MySTREAMy Brony Theater 4000. Yay.
Yeah, boy!
Well, you're officially behind on the frame right there. As usual, I'm joined here with my thing, Justin, and already we got a red line. Great.
A red line? What does that mean?
A red line in the reception.
Damn Skippy.
I might just need to put it in podcast mode, I guess, until then. Ugh. So, I'm going to be honest here. Let me explain to you what I've been going through this last week. I've been taking time to film Whirl, get all the lines for Whirl, and everything's been crazy. I am fucking exhausted. So today I went to a convention just to relax, and I went there. I did two of my famous cosplays, Mooman Rider and what was the other one? Oh yeah, Roxas, the cosplay I do all the time. Cloaked Roxas, shrouded face, and two Keyblades. Always fun. So, I didn't really know anybody there. It was just like one of those things there. It was a convention I've been to. It's its third year. Day convention, 10 to 5. Usual stuff. Went there, and I went there. How was it? It was
fucking awful.
It wasn't, here's the thing, it wasn't awful. The thing is that it didn't have much variety. Like, it had mainly a vendor's hall and a single guest room. And it didn't have, like, the same thing that you would see at, like, Sci-Fi Bartow, where there's, like, a stage there where you can, like, hang around there and you can hear the panels being, like, broadcast all over the place, or, like, say they did that in Pensacola. Now, the thing was, I never thought I would say something like this about a convention, like, ever. Never thought I would. But I was fucking bored. I was just bored. Like, I was just literally... Well, the thing was, here's the thing. Whenever I go to a convention, I'm always looking for variety. Like, there's always good stuff there. I like seeing vendors. It was just something I was there, like, I expected something more. Like, give me a game room. Give me some more panels to look forward to. Give me a variety. It was a day con, I'll give it that. It was a local convention. It was like the equivalent of going to like a garage sale day that you had to pay for. The price was fair though. It was $12 to get in. It was just a day con. I'll take it. It's fine. I only knew 2 people that went there, and that included Peekabell, the girl who owns the infamous Pikachu punch buggy, or the Peekabug, Pika Pika. And I also met my friend Panda, who is an art vendor there. She did some good stuff. So yeah, needless to say, the convention was good to go to, but they needed some more stuff to keep yourself occupied.
And I saw the guest list. Whenever I go to cons, what gets me to go is the celebrity guests. and most of them were professional wrestlers. Now, granted, I did not mind that, but most of them were local. And to be fair, are known in the circuit. Like they had, I think they had Scott Steiner. They had ODB, which is one of my favorite female wrestlers. But that was predominantly it. It was mostly just wrestlers. Now, I didn't go, but I will admit the lineup did not look that intriguing to me.
I could say that. But like here, anyway, I did end up getting some stuff there, some little stuff there. I only spent like, I don't know, counting the $12, it was like $42 there or something like that. So I'm just going to show you the stuff here that I got. I'm probably just going to flash it here. I know we're having some buffering problems, so I apologize in advance. So let me show you what I got here. First thing I got here was this. Are you taking a picture?
No, responding to someone.
I got this little rarity pendant that I like because she's my girl.
Aww.
Well, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. Just show you guys. I got this rarity pendant right here. It was only $8. It was good stuff. Can probably use it for my rarity cosplay or recreational stuff. Also, I got a free Rick and Morty comic because you know I love Rick and Morty. Who doesn't love Rick and Morty? Stupid people. And I also got an N64 game, Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, buddy.
Now here's the cool thing about this cartridge, though. It was bought at at a booth, right? But check out the back that this guy, the last owner, included.
Wait.
Invincibility and infinite ammo.
He put cheat codes on the back?
Yeah, he put cheat codes on the back, man.
Now that is convenient.
Yeah, it's really cool. I turned myself into a comic, Morty! I'm Comic Rick! I'm Comrick! Comrick.
For me, over the weekend, I saw Justice League. More on that in a little bit. Today, I actually volunteered to help at my friend's comic shop because he was actually donating all of his old comics to the troops overseas. So, volunteered for that. That was, a lot of fun. We got pizza and drinks, and someone actually cosplayed as Deadpool there. That was cool. And the local news actually showed up, and the guy didn't even invite him because he wasn't doing this for publicity. He was, just doing this to be nice. So he was surprised to find out that, the news was showing up. And so we're taking pictures, they're interviewing the guy, and so for like the guy's own personal, portfolio, or my friends, I should say. He's staying there with it's him, the guy cosplaying as Deadpool, some of the volunteers, and the guy from the news. And I told the guy, like, what you should do? You should actually hold out your microphone and make sure, like, the 12 News Media thing box is on full display. And sure enough, he actually pulls out the microphone and uses it as a prop for the photo. So that was a lot of fun. Got the latest MLP comics. And I'm actually far behind on reading MLP, equestrian literature. We'll say I got, like, maybe 4 comics I have to read. I still have to finish this MLP Equestria Girls book. The Trixie GM Barrow chapter book. This new series called My Little Pony Ponyville Mystery Books. They're chapter, but they're like about like as thick as a Goosebump book. Not that thick.
Just one of those like.
And
just like when you were like in elementary school, you read like a chapter book, and it was like, and it took like a lot of. If you felt like it would take you forever to read, but actually when you look at an adult, it's like really thin and like it's only like 100 pages with like text that's like very much double spaced. You know what I'm saying?
Not exactly, because
well, like,
let's see here.
Well, like when you were a little kid, you look at like something like the Goosebumps books. They were entertaining, but they felt like they were like professional books. But then when you look back and you see like all the double spacing and all the like large font sizes, you know what I'm talking about?
Well, see for yourself. Like, how big does that look to you?
Yeah, it looks like I could basically read that entire book in a day.
Probably, yeah. And there's only 110 pages.
I can read an entire manga in 30 minutes.
But I bought these to help still support the show and its fandom, and to try to get into a little bit more reading. And plus, I still have two other Equestria Girls books. One is Legend of Everfree. The other is called Magic Magic Everywhere, which I'm assuming were those full-length 22-minute shorts that was aired. And I also have The Elements of Harmony Volume 2, but that's basically just a show guide, so I don't really quite count that.
How much stuff did you get at this event?
What?
How much stuff did you get at this event?
This wasn't all this pony stuff was not from just that one event. If anything, just these two comics were. The rest is just, coupons I've been getting from Barnes & Noble. So, might as well use them.
I got a $100 gift. I was at a photo event with my dad this week, and I got a $100 gift certificate to Publix.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, I bought snacks.
And our dear friend Will Grubb, as some of you might know as to Will Snyder or Thespian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that news about him.
What news?
Him. You say it first. I don't want to spoil it because it's your moment, I guess.
I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, actually.
How he was an extra in that one show now.
Yeah, he was. He got to be, an extra in one of the Law and Order shows.
Whip-de-doo.
But still, I think I'm very cool for the guy. I mean, he's actually getting parts, and it just tells me that I think it tells both Evan and I that if we want to try doing this kind of stuff, we do need to get like a demo reel made.
It's an extra. You just show up and they pay you.
So what, dude? He's further on his way to performing than we are.
I guess so. I mean, when it comes to extra stuff, that's a good way to start. Like I almost volunteered to be an extra in Sharknado 3. I would have loved to be in Sharknado 3. And funny, my stepmom's actually an extra in the third Jaws movie.
Really? How cool is that?
Yeah, you can see her legs at one point, but then again, you can't. The entire rest of the movie is hard to watch, so yeah.
And as you saw, I was an extra in a Trauma movie.
Oh yeah. I'm never an extra. I'm always the featured event. Evan Bernardi 2017. I want a shirt that says that I'm never an extra. I'm the featured event.
Who never gets booked. Let's see. As far as what I was going to say about Will is he's at Equestria LA right now, which is sadly the con's last year, and Lauren Faust is there, and I gave him the money, and for him to get me her autograph, and lo and behold, he did.
Nice. Personalized or unpersonalized?
It's personalized.
Well, now you know some guys that can get rid of personalizations.
What's that?
Well, at least now we know some guys that can get rid of personalizations.
Yeah, but let me go and show this, though, because I thought this was pretty cool, because for anybody who has seen my collection, I have a ton of...
Hey, Goggles, what's up?
Pixel Kitty art, and she has one of her OC as well, but look what's also in the picture.
Is that Sebastian the Crab?
Nope.
Lena, I can't really see it too well, man. It's not centered. This is what I am seeing. Like, you're literally showing me an image, and you're like showing it to like the side. Like, hold it like right to the middle. Prince of Macedon. I could see Mac. I could see Coco.
Yeah, she put her characters.
Oh, it's Foster's home for imaginary friends.
Along with her OC. That's what I thought was so cool. And I I recorded a video message for him to play for her, hoping that she would, want to record her a message back, because Andrew Francis did that for me when he got me Shining Armor's autograph.
Sticky Sauce, I'm going to object to the weirdest comic book crossover I've ever seen was Spider-Man and Attack on Titan.
And
did that happen? Let me know if that happened, ladies and gentlemen. Goggles, I'm glad to see you. And welcome to the stream here, Prince of Macedon? Macadamian? I don't know.
But basically telling her that that I know things didn't work out with her for, MLP because she left after, season 1 or season 2?
Season 2 is when she stopped becoming the active producer on it.
Yeah, and just kind of told her, thank you for all these characters you've given us, for building us this world, and how it inspires folks like me and Will to do what we want to do. To which she, thanked for the support, which was great.
Oh, Mama Faust. Anyway, Emma, I know what you mean there. I mean, technically, if you want to play, she made the Friendship is Magic series. If you want to give a thank you to anybody, it's Bonnie Zachlin, so. Who created the entire franchise in a general.
Okay. But as for the Justice League, now without spoiling anything,
let me say something right here. Someone said the weirdest comic book so far was the Power Rangers and the Justice League crossover.
Interesting.
I would want to see that made into a DC movie.
Anyway, as far as the movie goes, it's entertaining enough. If you're expecting some grand movie like The Avengers, you're not going to get it. But if you are looking to be entertained for a while, it will definitely do that. Seeing all these characters, interact with each other is a lot of fun to watch. Everybody they did pretty good. As far as Ben Affleck Batman,
no one really cares at this point, about Ben Affleck Batman.
I didn't think he was bad, don't get me wrong, but if anything, I think they overdid it on the suit. Because it had, sewn-in muscles. It's
they're
dude,
basically trying to turn him into Iron Man.
It's dude, we're not buying this here.
Is actually the only thing that I heard the only most critiques I've heard about the Justice League movie is the fact that it's kind of sad, actually. Because, they got Joss Whedon, the guy who made the Avengers, as the screenplay writer, who actually responds to Twitter haters, by the way, about the movie, so kudos to him. But the thing is, people are saying, look, if you're gonna, they say they made it a lot lighter and a lot of fun, but the main thing people are saying is okay, what genre do you want now? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, really, if they're gonna, I don't even want to see the movie really to begin with, so yeah.
Well, the reason why I would say it's worth seeing is because I loved seeing Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He was fantastic.
Did they make him do stuff? I don't make fun of Aquaman, so
yeah, he actually did. He fought a lot in the movie. The Flash was very entertaining because he was basically the Peter Parker from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, that's what I pictured.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch.
So let's go over the list here. Batman is Iron Man. Flash is Spider-Man. Who's Black Widow now?
Black Widow.
I'm trying to see. So I'm gonna repeat again. Batman is being turned into Iron Man. Flash is turning into Spider-Man. Who's being turned into Black Widow?
I don't know who Black Widow even is.
You don't know who Black Widow is?
I'm guessing it's a comic book character, but
she's been in almost every Marvel movie since she was introduced. Scarlett Johansson, the girl in the tight leather suit with the guns, kicks people's asses, red hair.
Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Who are they turning into her? I'm gonna guess Cyborg. Is it Cyborg? Or is it Aquaman?
Well, Cyborg was pretty emo. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
They turned Cyborg into a whitey emo guy?
Well, here's the thing. In the beginning of the movie, this doesn't really. I don't think this really counts as a spoiler. But basically, if you're familiar with the, I guess you could say the mythos of Cyborg. Basically, he was in some sort of an explosion, and his dad basically kind of fixed him up using robotic parts. And you think he would be grateful to his dad for saving his life? He's like, no, Dad, you're the monster. Look at what you did to me. It's like, motherfucker, you're alive.
Well, no. Based on what I know about Cyborg, no, I would not want to be Cyborg.
The point is,
Cyborg lives a tragic life. Did you ever see him in Teen Titans about what he said about what his life is like?
I'm talking about what I saw in this movie. And what they said in this movie is that he was in an explosion. His dad fixed him up using robotic parts. Now he's alive, living, and well. And he's using this as an excuse to basically bitch at his dad.
Kind of, Like the guy, it's kind of like you've seen Curse of the Black Pearl, right?
Curse of the Black Pearl?
Yeah, the first Pirates movie.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, basically, Cyborg is the entire cursed crew of the Black Pearl. He can't feel. He can't enjoy life's pleasures. He can't taste. He is not liking the fact that he's a machine.
He's not a slave to a pirate ship.
No, that's Dead Man's Chest.
Well, you could say, I mean, well, slave to a pirate per se, but either way, he's not scrubbing the deck of a ranky old ship.
Why? I never said. When did I say he was scrubbing the deck? I'm saying he has the.
That's what the crew.
I'm doing.
That's what the crew.
Everybody in the chat room knows what I'm saying. Like literally, he can't.
Okay,
he can't feel. He can't feel. He can't enjoy life's pleasures such as taste or like food or anything like that. He's just because he's a robot.
Well, they didn't specify any of that in the movie.
I mean, I don't care if they do or don't, but like, that's. I'm just.
Okay, but like I said, I'm just going by what the movie said. If they do say that like in the sequel, then okay, you got me. But at least what they said so far with this movie was that he was just in an explosion. His dad fixed him using robotic parts. Now he looks like a...
Oh, yeah, that sticky sauce actually disproved you here. Cyborg is literally a slave to the machine in the comics. But by the way, there's a living virus in him called Grid who escapes on later on.
In the movie? I didn't see that.
Yeah, this probably was not in the movie, or maybe it might have not been introduced, but yeah, Cyborg, I forgot about the virus in Cyborg.
I mean, the only thing that really happened to him in the movie that you probably could conceive as a virus is at some point the machine parts start acting on their own if they think, like something dangerous is about to happen.
Oh, so it goes like Ed 209 on you or something like that? Or what was that? Robot in RoboCop? Ed 2.
I haven't seen the original movies.
Really good. Angry Video Game Nerd just did a whole compilation.
Yeah, I saw those. But I still stand by it. If you want to see this, if you want to be entertained, this movie will do it. If you want to go see it in the theaters, though, I'd recommend you do it at matinee price.
Like one of those things, like if it's still being released for like $8 at that movie theater?
No, like basically, if you see a movie like...
Those?
Well, a matinee, at least in this case, is seeing a movie before the evening, and it'll be a few dollars cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, don't go to the midnight premiere. Don't be Brad Jones.
There is a scene at the very end after the credits, but I will not go into spoiler territory. Where I went was about as far as I would.
I already know what it is. I didn't even look it up.
Well,
hold on. I'm gonna mute my microphone so that no one can hear it. So I'm gonna make a guess. Just nod or shake your head if I'm right or wrong. So I'm gonna mute the audio. I apologize if it doesn't work. So spoilers. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, the microphone's back on. Apparently I was not. Apparently I was not. No, I was kind of right, not right at the same time. But anyway, what I was gonna say, I kind of knew that was gonna be the conclusion after seeing the cast. But anyway, also want to point out. Sorry, go on.
But as someone who has not seen the movie Wonder Woman, at least not yet, I am thrilled with the actress they got to play her.
Oh yeah, that Russian girl.
Israeli.
Yeah, she's Israeli.
Yeah, Gail Gadot, I believe.
She did some really thing. That was the only thing I didn't get. Why did they make her Russian in the movie? That was weird.
She wasn't.
Or is she Israeli? She has like this weird accent.
She's from Israel, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it because of her. I thought it might have been the character. I mean, I heard the Wonder Woman movie's pretty good.
But what I liked about her is that one, like she was beautiful. She's an actual badass, and she was caring, and she was able to do it all without being overtly sexual. That was the best part.
Yeah.
Because if you see the cartoon movie,
you should see the original live-action movie. But one thing I want to, while I'm here pointing here, I just want to point out here, Thanksgiving is coming up. Really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to working at the Magic Kingdom.
Don't. But I thought the parks would be bare on Thanksgiving.
No.
Really?
It by all means, Thanksgiving's the fourth most crowded day at the park. The only benefit about this is I'm getting a fucking double paying the fact that they give me a $1 lunch. So I'm just gonna warn you, on Thursday I'm not gonna be happy. But I'll tell you one thing that will make you happy, and maybe something that might make me happy here. In fact, I don't have classwork, and maybe I might get a chance to watch Mystery Science Theater's Turkey Day Celebration Marathon. And no doubt will be streaming on YouTube. If you want to see what your favorite Mystery Science Theater episodes are going to be playing, tune into their YouTube channel on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, and also don't forget to watch the Macy's Parade. It's always a fun time.
I'm surprised that's actually going to be packed, because I remember when I was a kid, me and my family would drive over to Tampa to visit friends and family for Thanksgiving, and we would then go to Busch Gardens because it'd be so empty.
Okay, here's something here. Okay, what's with the bows becoming more common with pones? First apple bloom, then flitter, that a personal space mirror, and now songbird serenades sporting the biggest head bow size ratio. Oh yeah, why are the bows becoming bigger? I mean, did Sia Pony have a name? I don't care if I know her name is Songbird Serenade, but what? Come on, guys, you're just gonna call her Sia Pony. It's like the fish in Shark Tale. You're just gonna call him Will Smith the fish. You're just gonna call Songbird Serenade Sia the pony. She looks like her. What else would she fucking be?
And the thing is that I have listened to her song. I know we talked about this before, but I have listened to her song "I Can See a Rainbow" for the soundtrack for the movie. And honestly, I don't think she wrote this for the movie. If anything, this feels like an unreleased B-side song.
Sounds like a giant sigh to me. I can see a rainbow.
But think about it. It has almost like really nothing to do with the film.
Except if anything, spoilers in the music video.
Yeah, and the thing is too, that
you're a fucking asshole for that. You're a fucking ass. He sent me the music video before the movie came out. I'm like saying, why do I get the feeling this whole music video is spoilers?
Oh, the art of the music.
It was.
The art of the music video died.
What?
The art of the music video has died.
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of ironic. The first music video, you know what the first music video to play on MTV was, right?
Video killed the radio star.
Yeah, and then look at it now. Nowadays, video killed the music star. MTV in a nutshell.
But the thing is that, like I said, this doesn't feel like it was actually written for the movie, because the song is just way too somber for the ending of the film. Yeah, I mean, the film ends on such a, I would say an upbeat note, and this one feels, like Evan says, a sigh. I mean, the message is nice, but it doesn't really come off like it's for the movie.
Were you expecting like a pop song or something like that, or just like more of an upbeat pop song, kind of like one of those like Love Is in Bloom kind of things?
Not exactly. If anything, the song that Lucas Graham did for the soundtrack feels more connected to the movie than Sia's.
Which one did you see?
And We're Off to See the World. Feel free to look it up if you're curious, people at home. Because here's the thing. If you actually listen to the song in context with the movie, it actually feels like his song is about Brony's going to see the movie. Oh my God. Well, think about it, because here's the lyrics.
Here we go.
We're not the earth by sitting still. I guess we never will. So, hey, where you gonna go? We're off to the world. We don't need to know who, and they're not gonna stop us. It's like, again, it feels like it's about Brony's going to go see the movie, which is not bad. Don't get me wrong. In fact, they practically use that song in all the trailers, so it makes sense.
Anyway, the bottom line is, I don't know why the bows are getting bigger. Maybe because people like bows. I mean, Doctor Who wore a head of bow. So
I think it's just meant to make them easier to see and identify.
I identify with that pony because she has a giant bow. Like, I'm waiting for Mare to show up, and her whole head is, like, overtaken with a giant bow.
And now, speaking of music,
Can I point out that the laziest songs in there, well, there's only one lazy song on the soundtrack, and that's their We Got the Beat remix version.
Well,
changing the lyrics around.
I can't say that because it's not on the soundtrack.
Are you serious?
That song is not on the CD.
Someone wanted to avoid a copyright something. I don't know. When I heard the movie, I'm like, are you fucking... Okay, there you go.
I mean, it's a cute pun, don't get me wrong, but I think they realized that's all it was. It was just a pun.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say is that the other thing I'm not hearing a lot of stuff of was the song You Got This. I don't think it got too much... It was a good song, but I don't think it was, like, one of the more respected, popular ones. I mean, for me, my favorite song in the entire movie was One Small Thing. I like that one.
Which is weird because within the movie, it reminds me of Under the Sea from Little Mermaid, but the music is nothing like it.
Well, that's the thing. It feels like something you'd hear underwater in, like, an undersea kingdom environment, I guess. With a little clarinet kind of thing.
And with my metal background, my favorite was Open Up Your Eyes.
I thought it was okay. I thought Open Up Your Eyes was okay. I like, when you listen to it, kind of like has a thing about telling someone to, like, kind of realize that life wasn't the way you were meant to be, or, like, like reality's a bitch. But, like, anyway, like, sorry to interrupt you there, like, you might as well just break in the news of your tragedy this week.
Not my own personal tragedy, but it was a tragedy within the music world.
Yeah.
Rhythm guitarist and co-founding member of AC/DC has passed. He was just 69 years old. He had suffered from dementia for some time. Jesus. And he went just over the weekend peacefully in his sleep, so there's at least that. But I think it's tragic because AC/DC were icons. But I will tell you straight up, though, music skill wise, they were not that good.
Yeah, like AC/DC, I don't know. I like some of their stuff, but like,
oh yeah, like Thunderstruck.
They make so many songs that make the churches mad. I gotta show you "Rockets Your Decision" one day, and we just watch it on a stream or something, just so you can see how sad it is that you're watching a kid reject rock music and destroy his social life because of his parents like disliking his music.
And to give you an example here, their bass player, most of his riffs were just strumming the open bass note, just bum 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 bum. Yeah, that's a lot of what he just did.
Where Jack Black teaches the kid how to play G on bass.
Yes, and a lot of their stuff does sound the same. Like Dirty Deeds sounds a lot like TNT.
That is basically true.
But you still can't deny the impact they had, though.
Yeah, they made the one metal song you could play at a school prom. You Shook Me All Night Long.
Oh, that one.
that happened at my prom. I'm like, they like play pop songs and then they just play that. I'm like thinking, fine, cool. AC/DC made a song you could actually play at pop songs. I mean, prom things. I mean, like, you're not gonna listen to like Black Sabbath somewhere. Would you see Paranoid being played at a prom? And that's the greatest metal song of all time. So like, yeah. I mean, say what you want.
That's probably Black Sabbath's most punk-driven song.
Actually, it was said to be one of the birthplaces of heavy metal. Actually, from what I heard.
The band certainly was, but I don't think Paranoid came out until
it was their second album.
We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll.
Well, that was no. It was Paranoid came out in the second album. It was Paranoid.
Wasn't?
No. Paranoid is the second album in Black Sabbath discography.
Okay. I think maybe We Sold Our Souls was a compilation album.
Yeah, that's what it was. I don't even like. I have one thing. I got Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Like,
yeah, that was their first was their first album.
All they played was Lady Gaga and Justin Bieber at your prom goggles. Oh, goggles.
We are so. I am so sorry, my friend.
You know, I know something funny. Justin Bieber's not allowed in Disney World.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because of something there. I don't remember the reason why, but I think the rumor is he like kicked Mickey in the balls or something like that.
Oh, I just.
Nope. Look, if he was kicked in the balls, I'm pretty sure Mickey's vocal cords would have been shot there because of how high his voice is.
Oh, fucking
I guess I'm gonna go to work tomorrow and I'm trying. There's actually might be another death that was recorded today. I'm trying to get it confirmed though. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up on my phone real quick. Justin, tell knock knock jokes until I get there.
What do you call a woman who always knows?
Not a knock knock joke.
I'm going to tell the jokes I want. Damn it! What do you call a woman who always knows where her husband is?
Oh yeah, here it is.
A widow.
Okay, so here's the thing. Just recently, from what I've heard here, David Cassidy is possibly dying, or is dead if not already.
I thought you already posted on your Facebook that he did die.
Well, there's a thing here. I'm looking at the last 6-hour article here, and it says David Cassidy, the Partridge Family superstar, in critical condition. So that's another one for you. I mean, but hey, look at the bright side. At least we're close to losing Charles Manson.
Yay! It's kind of hard to feel sorry for that guy.
Yeah, I mean, the guy has a fucking swastika carved in his forehead. It's funny because when you look at how old he was when he was in prison and had that old, like, 70s look, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I remember, because I actually used to watch prison, I guess you could say documentaries, but they were basically, it was a show called Lockup.
Oh, how many documentaries have been made about Charles Manson these days?
No, Lockup explored prison life. That's what it was. And someone actually, okay, I'm just going to come out and say this here. I have a relative that has been incarcerated since the year I was born. So he's been there for 32 years.
How many more years does he have?
Huh?
How many more years does he have?
This was supposed to be his last one, at least for his minimum.
Oh my God.
But however, during the probation hearing, they didn't think he was sorry enough for what happened. But if you want to know,
don't tell anybody what happened. It's none of their business.
No, it's nothing. This is where it gets really screwed up here about the prison system. Is the reason why he's in there is for being a wild child, destruction of property, breaking and entering, breaking probation. That's it. And he's been there for over 30 years.
Well, that's the thing. Like you told me in prison, like one of the things I always thought when you're in prison, like I always thought the punishment for prison was you're isolated from society, not being able to interact with with the modern day tech, and then you come out and get like this weird future shock as your punishment.
I'm trying to remember what that's called.
But it's like when you're in prison, like you're basically being babysat, and all of your freedom is just halved, isn't it?
Oh, this is gonna drive me crazy.
Unless you're in Canada, where you only get where you just get babysat. Okay, so first of all, Charles Manson, was he a serial killer, or was he just one of those guys that inspired people to be serial killers?
I think it's both, to be honest, because I do know that he convinced people to do killing for him.
Is that technically a serial killer, or is that just like a manipulator? Is that how it works? Oh yeah.
Solitary confinement, that's what it is.
Yeah, someone was saying here, solitary confinement is no longer widely practiced. I can see why. Solitary confinement, I heard, can make people go insane.
It can. From what I understand, you don't get a clock, there's no window.
Exactly.
You're in like this 4x4 brick room.
I think Morgan Spurlock did that for like 1 week, and for one of his what was this called? His 30-day series. He like went in there for 1 week, and I think I don't know whether he made it all the way or not, but he said it was one of the worst parts of the prison experience.
It is. It is bad.
Give Spurlock some props. He actually did that thing for 30 days. Give him a break. Did he? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Morgan Spurlock, I questioned him at some points. Like, I thought his Super Size Me documentary was very false. And I'm not saying that because I'm a big guy, people. I'm saying that because he barfed trying to eat a large fry. Who the hell does that?
Well, actually, it doesn't. It's so much. Maybe not be the thing. Maybe it might be the taste. I mean, like when you're adult, your taste buds change. Maybe he just isn't mostly on McDonald's. It's kind of like when I listened to Game Grumps. He said Aaron said I had Taco Bell for the first time in like 4 years, and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my life.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of time, it's kind of the placebo effect can work in the opposite way. As much as you can use to make you feel better, it can also make you feel bad. So I'm wondering if that was at play. Plus, the other thing is that they tried someone actually tried doing the experiments again and did not get the same results. So I find
Well, that's kind of iffy because after the documentary was released, how long ago was it after the documentary was released? Because I remember specifically that McDonald's response to the documentary was they did change out some ingredients and remove the supersize option off the menu.
Not ingredients, but just the supersize.
So I guess it kind of may have had a Blackfish effect. Whether or not it was true or false, it did make an impact. We're not going to go into an argument about that documentary. I'm just going to say that here.
It's not that, but just because something made an impact, that doesn't mean it was necessarily good.
Well, it still made an impact either way. I didn't say it made a good impact.
But speaking of Blackfish, no, I did not see it, but I got to go to SeaWorld for the first time in a long ass time. Yeah. Like I haven't been there since the 5th grade.
I went there I think it was 7 months ago, and I didn't even like it.
Well, it might get better once they start introducing more rides, because that's what they're currently doing. But they had a ride there. I think it was just called Manta or Manta Ray, and I've been on traditional roller coasters where you just sit down. I have rarely tried any kind of roller coaster where you sit in some weird position. With Manta Ray, you sit down, and then it swings the chairs backwards, so you're in the Superman position.
Oh, yeah. That's how it's like. Like, how I'm standing right here is how you're riding the Manta.
And I gotta tell you, that is a crazy way to take a loop.
Yeah, like, they had the first ride to ever do that, for what I know, is the Superman ride in Six Flags, which I rode, and I fucking hated it. Like, I was having fun, and then the loop comes, and my stomach goes like... And then I'm like, okay, never doing that again.
Here's the thing, like, I actually got that too, but however, mine was actually more connected to my blood sugar. Like, I had not eaten for, like, 6 hours at
that's the cure.
What?
Nothing, go on, sorry. I'm not making fun of you, but, like, that was the cure.
So yeah, you were making fun of me.
I gotta go get to the surgery, to go on the Superman ride. Just connect all my heart to my stomach to my blood sugar. I don't know.
And again, going back to what I was saying about taking a loop that way, be it like inverted, where you're on the inside of the loop, or on the outside, it feels freaking weird. A lot of fun though. Don't get me wrong. The other experience that was a bit half and half was what they did with Kraken, which is they included a VR helmet to it, so that when you have this thing on, you're basically seeing what looks like some underwater building, like in that movie Abyss, and then suddenly once the ride takes off, you kind of go into the waters, and you're basically kind of seeing this huge underwater world, and you're trying to get away from the Kraken. But here's the thing: as great as an idea as that is, it still had some flaws. Because number one, the first time we tried this thing, we never took off from the loading station. But like the coaster was moving, but what we were seeing in our VR helmets was we're still at the loading dock. That was it. So they let us ride it again, but we had to switch chairs. The other thing was they actually had to disinfect the visors after every use.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, they did that for the, what was the word? The virtual reality stuff at Disney Quest.
Yeah. Now, granted, it's just a quick wipe, so it doesn't take that long. But the other thing is that you have to keep your head back. You could not, really move your head around. Plus, you're seeing, again, like this underwater. You're inside this underwater building. Then you're in this submarine, and think it would feel cool in there, but no, you're still outside feeling the sun beating down on you. So it doesn't really feel like it.
Zachary, I just brought that up. I'm really excited for the MST3K Turkey Day Marathon. Who knows what they're going to show this year? Last year I got home late and I never got to see it. Oh yeah, and another thing. I know I'm bringing back tragedy here, but we did lose another person this week. Hiromi Saru, I think her name is, who was the original voice actress who portrayed the role of Trunks in Japan. I'm sorry, not Trunks. Bulma, the original Japanese voice of Bulma, passed away, unfortunately. She was 57 years old. We had nothing to report but tragedy this week, honestly.
I'm starting to think that none of these people are actually dying. They're just pre-boarding for the apocalypse.
I think so. That's like the rapture.
Well, that was a joke I heard from a comedian that I thought was funny. He's like, Pope John Paul didn't die. He pre-boarded.
No wonder Richard Spencer hasn't died yet. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to the Turkey Day Marathon, and I'm hoping they show some good stuff. I actually showed Jason Ruth Pod People at his last Halloween party, and it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life all the way through. If you guys don't know what that is, it's the origin of the Mystery Science Theater joke, it stinks. No, you didn't see the movement. You have to go like, it stinks.
Well, it reminds me of that cartoon, The Critic, that used to air on Fox.
I think that's where they got it from. Well, wait, no, it wasn't. He doesn't do the thing.
He doesn't do this. He doesn't do the A-OK. He just points up. That's all he does. It stinks.
Hold on, Sticky Sauce wants me to do the voice. But Marge, the apocalypse. Is that just gonna be a running joke? I just stole that joke from the Game Grumps. I'm just saying that. Marge.
They're supposed to be coming to Fort Lauderdale, actually.
Who?
The Game Grumps.
Oh yeah. I don't even know if I'm not interested in seeing a Game Grumps live show, honestly. It's just them playing video games live. I think that was just like a gimmick, just like in their popularity, to just get some stuff.
I do know Markiplier's got a few. I know Markiplier's got a few appearances, but none of them are in Florida, of course. Yeah. And speaking of video games, I finished the Fractured Butthole, people.
Sort of.
Not for the most part. At least the story.
As far as the story. Happened. You got to tell them what happened in the movie, in the game. Spoilers, if any.
Okay, well, there's basically two different endings. There's the ending for the story, and then there's the ending for your character. And your character figures out a way to blast farts that actually bend time.
Of course.
And he, makes time go backwards and brings back Mitch Connor, which is this gag from where Cartman's hand was a person named Mitch Connor, and everything. I mean, it's him, but they actually made a mistake with that, because while Cartman swears that it's not, he's not doing it, and Mitch Connor even appears on Kyle's hand in the actual TV show.
Is that a thing, Great Mewtwo? Sorry, go on.
What?
I'm asking before you continue there. Is that a thing, Great Mewtwo? Tell me yes or no. I'm sorry, go on. Is that in the TV show, they already stated that Mitch Connor was a prank that Cartman was pulling on Kyle. But basically, that gets taken care of, and the backstory for your character, or at least the superhero that you make your character out of, is that your dad fucked your mom, and that sent you on a psychotic rage. And at the end of that, you hear your parents actually having sex. And Professor Chaos comes in and goes, "You can never stop them from fucking your mom. So let's see what happens when you add a little chaos." Which to me, it seems like what they're doing is setting up for the third game, where you're going to play as the villain this time. And there you have all sorts of little, missions within the game, including finding 40 pieces of Yowie. What does this have to do with that glitch story you told me?
You want me to tell you the glitch story?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. The story about why you couldn't completionist the game.
You said, reveal spoilers and whatnot.
No,
so
I said there might be spoilers, but he's going to tell the story you told me.
Okay, well, to tell you what Evan was referring to, one of the missions is trying to find all of Big Gay Al's cats.
Throwback joke, that's actually funny.
Yeah, and I found, a lot of them, and I dropped them off at Big Gay Al's house, but nothing happened. So I looked up, where all the cats were, and sure enough, I got all them. I got all them and took them back to his house, but it said that I did not have them all. So I guess I can never fully complete the game now.
You double-checked every single location.
Yes.
Yeah, the game's glitched out on him. He basically Rise of Lyric him at the last moment.
And the game does have glitches. Like there are times when the lips aren't in sync. That was Angry Joe pointed that out in his review of it. I mean, it's still worth playing. It's still worth getting, especially if you're a South Park fan. But is it as good as the Stick of Truth? Yes and no. Like it's a solid. The back of the game says it got 9.5 out of 10 for best in show, and a lot of what you want from South Park is there, and even the animation is faster. There's actually a faster way of getting around town because Jimmy, the cripple kid, his superpower is that he can run fast, and his name is Fast Pass.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at Sticky Sauce's comment here. I'm going to show this from hiding. He said, I hate to say it, but fitting for South Park, foiled by Big Gay Al's pussy.
Wait, what?
As a response to your cat issue glitch, he said, I hate to say it, but fitting for South Park, foiled by Big Gay Al's pussy. That's the thing, though, like, I don't know, by best in show, does it mean, like, the best looking game or something like that?
That's it. I'm not sure what it means.
I mean, if that's the case, I'm going to say no. The best game of the year for that was Cuphead. Other than that, I want to play Cuphead so badly.
I'd be willing to try it, but I don't think I would have a huge desire to beat it.
Come on, don't you want to be my mug man?
Don't you want to blow me?
You don't want to be mug man? Cuphead, he's the blue one. There's Cuphead and Mugman.
I don't know. I just was trying to be a smartass.
By the way, Max Gilardi, Hot Diggity Demon, made a Cuphead short film, and it's really funny. So what happens if you actually broke one of the cups? They accidentally fell over and fell and cracked like porcelain.
Okay, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
What's the difference between vintage and retro?
Vintage. Give me. I don't know what a good example of vintage is. I don't know a good definition for that, honestly. Like vintage is like.
Because I was trying to figure that out actually.
Retro is kind of like. Maybe it's the art styles.
Well, because this is the only.
Hold on. I gotta do a sound test.
Because I was trying to figure that out actually.
Sorry, I was looking at the Yeah, I'm gonna go back to image real quick just to make sure things are good. Like vintage, I think it might be having something to do with the art style or something like that.
See, this is the only answer or conclusion that I could come up with, is that to me, vintage represents maybe like the 50s and 60s.
Actually, no, Fluffernutters gave us the answer. Vintage is like 50 years plus. Retro is usually 15 to 20 years old.
I was just about to say that, cocksucker.
You know, I expect he's an author. He co-wrote the script for Whirl. Give him a break.
I was talking to you, dude.
Hey, Fluffernutters did it. Fucking Justin Jablonski. Justin, when is your book coming out?
I don't have a book.
No, I'm talking. No, the other Justin Jablonski.
No.
Yeah, the guy who wrote Whirl is actually a writer. People, I'm not even kidding. He actually writes novels. And he did it for me because it was free. Or something like that. No, I'm just kidding. I wanted him because of his good talent, honestly. He's a good writer. He started off with fan fiction, and now look at him now. He's publishing stuff. I think it was like children's books. We should have him on the show one day. Then again, he doesn't really use Skype. I'm actually thinking about leaving Skype and switching to Discord.
Can we even stream on Discord?
I don't know. I don't know how Discord works. Zach's probably going to teach me how to do it because he's usually active on there. He only uses Skype for Mystery Brony Theater. So I gotta find to do that, finish the movie, and play Resident Evil. And I also gotta finish Bruce's video this week. I'm a busy guy.
Do you even have Nintendo 64?
Yes, my Nintendo 64 is my child.
I've never seen it.
Yes, you have.
Have I?
Yes, you have. It's in the other room. It's in the office room. Hell, there's a Hell, one of my profile pictures on Facebook is the fact that is me opening my Nintendo 64 as a child, and I still have it. I need to get a new one though, because that one's pretty old.
They're all old. What are you talking about?
Well, like, you know, mine just kind of has a hard time there. You have to like kind of jiggle the thing in there until it works. That's how you know if a Nintendo 64 cartridge works. You have to make sure it doesn't like kind of like stress itself in there. You have to make it go like click and not like go like. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like picture like a circle going into a circle slot and matching like a circular sponge going into a circular slot.
And that's my cat's tail.
No one can see it. I switched to the image because of stuff. There we go, desktop.
Let's see here. In other news, I am learning. I'm finally learning some editing. I have been making videos of the interviews that I conducted at BronyCon.
Yeah.
I'm using because of my usual editor Kurt was on vacation at the time, and you know he like everybody, you know, you don't want to work when you're on vacation. That's the whole point.
I know.
So I use this as an opportunity to learn it on my own. So I started using iMovie, which in retrospect is really not that good of editing software.
No, it's basically the Windows Movie Maker of Mac. That's an editor's joke, ladies and gentlemen. You can take it home.
Anyway, but the reason why I am using it is because it's basically good for beginners. That's what I am.
Can't argue with that.
I'm currently working on the Sunday interviews, and they seem to have been gone over pretty well. I mean, they don't have as many views as Hoof Rock because, you know, people really want to be entertained. So I don't know what's the best way to get, you know, viewers to check out, you know, interviews. And I finally got Kurt paid off for everything he's made. Now I got to pay my dad for a car bill, which is going to take some time. So this is going to give me a chance to learn how to shoot and make stuff on my own. I mean, I'm not ditching Evan or Kurt because I need them to animate.
Yeah, until you friggin' learn how to use Adobe Premiere.
So, you know, they're not going anywhere.
Better. Anyway, as I was saying, like I said, go to Brony. He can teach you how to use Premiere. I want him to teach you how to use Premiere.
Evan doesn't want me as a client anymore.
No, I didn't say that. I want the fact that you want. I just want you to learn. You said you're getting into editing, and I wanted you to learn something more professional. See, Great Mewtwo recommends trying Sony Vegas. I mean, like, he has a MacBook, so and like Adobe works better. You could pirate Sony Vegas, I guess.
Isn't that like $6,000?
I just said you can pirate Sony Vegas.
Yes, asking, isn't it like $6,000?
For what? Sony Vegas?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably not. But like, the thing is that like I used to use Sony Vegas as my After Effects. I used to like back in the days when I had an old Gateway laptop. I used to build effects on that one, and then I used to put it all in Windows Movie Maker where I'd put it all together, kind of like Premiere. And man, that was a big pain in the ass. I remember I had to whenever Premiere crashed. Windows Movie Maker crashed. I didn't know how to use Task Manager when I was a little boy, so I didn't. So I had to like literally hard reset the computer because it froze everything. I mean, I remember trying to edit my old Portal video this old crappy like Portal video I made where it was a Thanksgiving themed video. It's kind of stupid, but like the fact is that I tried making that on iMovie, and it was the worst mistake I ever made in my life. Because it was really slow and really hard to render. If I'm correct, if you want to learn similar to my pace, your next thing is going to be learning Final Cut Pro X, which has an audit.
Let's see what else has been going on. Well, finally, after months and months and months of waiting and trying, it looks like Evan will finally be coming over to my place next weekend.
I can't tell you why.
No, we can't, but he's coming over with another friend of ours.
Brony Buck.
And it's about friggin' time. That's all I can really say.
In both cards, we're not going to say what it is, but we are filming something for his channel. It's a surprise.
I am really looking forward to, because we had so much fun writing this thing.
I'm gonna lick my balls. That's a sneak preview of a joke. What I want him to do, I'm gonna tell you this so that way we don't forget it. When he does that part, he's gonna cut it off right in the middle of when you say balls.
I'm off to lick my ball.
No, you have to say it proudly, like, I'm off to lick my ball. We're not gonna tell you what it is, but we're just giving you one of my jokes. I don't want him to get rid of that Tron joke I make in the beginning. Getting there. All of her friends are getting derez except for Twilight. She has to participate in the games.
And I remember, like, because it actually took us like 3 nights to actually write the stuff, because we all work. And there was Brony made a screen cap of Pinkie Pie, but with in her human form.
Oh, wait, is this spoiling stuff if they see the screen cap, because they'll know where it's from?
Well, he posted on Twitter. Does it really count?
Does he know who it... Well, does he know...
Well, I'll tell you
talking about this.
Made. There was... we grabbed a screen cap of Pinkie in her Equestria Girl form, and she had, like, marshmallows, goop all over her hands and mouth, and he posted on Twitter and said, "Oh God, the implications."
I need him to send me every single face that he took a screenshot of so I can make a cover on a binder.
Yeah, we got a meme face collection out of this thing.
So, like, yeah.
And we're going to see if another well-known Brony YouTuber, we'll say, is willing to make a cameo. We still need to ask the guy, but I would think he would be. He's usually down for anything.
Wouldn't it make sense? Wouldn't it not make sense because he's not in the same world as our characters? We should stop talking about this.
Well, all I'm going to say is I don't think so, because the guy, as far as I know, doesn't really have an OC or really does even analysis.
Anyway, yeah, we're just filming something. I got a cat piano in my closet that looks at me every single time I look at my closet. So you'll see.
We got an acoustic guitar that we're going to be using in some fashion.
I'm running low on money. I need to save up for buying Christmas gifts.
What do you get for Christmas?
What?
What are you getting for me this Christmas?
I don't know if I can even afford to do a Christmas gift this year, man. Honestly, like...
Aww.
Like, the thing is, like, my dad got me a car. I got bills I got another bill I have to pay. Not to mention, also my car insurance increased because I got a new car. By the way, the old station wagon was taken today. Someone bought it for like $50.
Wait a minute. The car that broke down, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a piece of shit anyway. Anyway, like, the point is that funny thing is, were you hanging out with me when I had the Contour? The shitty.
I think so. I think I saw it at least once.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story. Like, when they got rid of the Contour, right? I had this when I was here in Florida, my dad gave me this car that belonged to my stepmom. It was a 1999 Contour, and it was the shittiest car I've ever had. My years at Full Sail composed of no air conditioning. And when you live in Florida, that's something you don't want. So
you don't air conditioning?
You don't want a car to not have air conditioning.
There you go.
Especially when it rained, because my windows would fog and I have to lower the windows to get it unfogged. It was crazy. But here's the thing. So this 1999 Contour I finally got rid of because it was dying. Like, it was like literally struggling to be alive, like the station wagon was. And so we got rid of it. My dad gave it to a friend, but he forgot to fill out the paperwork that kind of like hands the car over, like, legally. You know what I'm saying? What's the word I'm looking for? Possession.
Lease?
Yeah, like the release forms. So a couple months, like half a year passes, and my stepmom's at home in the middle of the day. Day off from work, and there's a knock at the door, right? She opens up, and she's greeted by 2 police officers. It turns out... It gets better, so don't bring this up to my stepmom, by the way. It turns out someone either stole the car from the original owner, or he sold it to somebody else, and it was involved in a robbery, and the papers still brought it back to her. We didn't get in trouble or anything, but it was like, you know. Yeah, the title to the car, that's what I'm looking for, Great Mewtwo. So yeah, that's my dad got busted for that, and especially since I didn't really need to sign anything. So yeah. So yeah, they got me a car. So yeah, I will say I might need to go lazy. Um, like I don't want to discuss gifts up here. What do you think is a good idea for a gift? Let's be serious here.
For who?
Anybody. Like I mean, gift cards I know are the easy way out, which I'm probably going to be getting for my grandparents. Don't tell them you can't, but still keep the dreams alive.
Okay, well, if it was something for your dad, I would say...
Oh, I know what I'm getting for my dad.
Okay, then something for your mom. A Mickey Mouse voodoo doll.
No. I'm not going to do that.
And, well, I can't say anything about, any of your other relatives because I never met them.
You met my sister.
Yeah, but I haven't really known her that much.
She's really not. She's a nice girl. She's kind of literal, but yeah, she's pretty smart. I mean, look at her. She's got a more successful job than me, so yeah.
Really? What does she do?
She got a teacher's degree, right? And she did some stuff for some kindergartners, but now she works as a desk job for a lawyer and is making a killing off that.
Oh, shit.
Well, I'm stuck here in Orlando making $10 an hour at a theme park where I really should deserve more.
You make more than me.
Yeah, but like the thing is, you don't have to tend to people.
I work at a hospital.
But yeah, but do you have to deal with? You usually deal with the same people every day, right? Try dealing with a different person every single second that might not speak English or might be from somewhere around the world and is physically able to move, can get you fired by going up to a manager, or also being disruptive during shows or rides and getting out of the ride and not listening to you putting yours and or their lives possibly in danger. Not to mention they can also yell at you because they didn't do something right, and even though it's reasonable, you have to be basically a thing. And well, the thing is here, well, Justin, let me put it like this way: in your job, I can guarantee you can you refuse things for people when it's necessary?
Oh, is he done talking? Anyway,
answer the question. No. Answer the question. Are you able to refuse things to people when you know it's necessary?
Dumb it down for me, please.
Okay, like when you bring someone their lunch and you know they can't have salt, but they start begging for salt, and they say, yeah, have salt. Here you go, or whatever. I don't know.
I think so, but I personally don't think I ever had to deal with such a thing.
Let me put it like this way: in Disney, when we were out there, you're the bitch to the guests. It's their way or the highway, basically, for the most part.
Yeah, welcome to customer service.
Oh no, I'm not even gonna get started what customer service is like there.
Anyway, try dealing with people who might be dying.
Exactly.
Who can't speak English.
Have you ever been to that experience? Like you actually had to be the hospice for a dying person. Like, has somebody died in front of you?
Not exact. Let me.
No, I was gonna say not to open old wounds. Not to open wounds.
Let me speak.
Just saying.
Anyway, actually died in front of me. I don't really know because you can't really quite tell.
True.
However, one thing that the hospital does, at least mine, I don't know about all the others, is that if a family member is in fact dying, the hospital will give them what's called a grievance tray, which is basically like a fruit plate, like a bunch of fruit, crackers, drinks, you name it. And that's usually a pretty good indicator that the person is in fact dying. And it is it can be a little hard to deal with because you know why you're there, you know what's going to happen, you know what is on its way, so it can be a little harsh. That's why they don't they recommend that you don't stay in there for very long. So in that instance, I would just make sure that the name and the room match, and I leave it there, and ask them if there's anything else they need, and then be on my way. There was a moment where I actually walked in on a prayer that some people were doing, But this wasn't like the quiet white prayer, like, hands together, just whispering to themselves. This was like a loud cheer, black cheer choir.
I don't have a problem with that.
Going on. And I'm sitting there with a tray of food, just waiting for them to finish, and not because I didn't want to be rude. I did not want to interrupt their prayer.
Yes.
So, I was there for maybe 5, maybe 7 minutes, just waiting for them to finish. And they know I'm there. They saw me. But again, they're doing their prayer, and I'm not going to say anything. Finally, they finish, and I leave them the tray. There was another incident where I went to go deliver food to a room, and I knock on the door. There's no answer. Open the door, stick my head in, and I don't see anyone. But there was a Publix bag on the counter, so I figured, okay, someone must have been there. So I sat on the counter, and then I see a giant, life-size white bag.
Oh God.
And I closed the door, and I didn't think of it at first, and then I thought, wait a minute.
Oh Jesus.
Is somebody in there? And she goes, kinda.
Ugh.
Yeah, I delivered a tray to a corpse.
Oh my God.
But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker.
Oh my God.
We kept getting orders from her room.
I don't even know if I can even laugh at that, man. That's...
Well, here you can, because believe me, when you work at a hospital, you will develop a sixth sense of humor.
Here's the thing, though. I had a friend of mine that worked at a hospital. He actually had the task of had to do this 3 times, and I can imagine he had to do one of the hardest things anybody could possibly do is tell the people about that they're close to death. And I could not for the life do that for someone. He said when the first time you do that, you just don't know how to feel, like you ruined someone's life, clearly, you know what I'm saying? Trust me, Justin, I'm being actually serious this, no jokes intended. Do you have the nuts to tell a family that's worried about a person's condition that their hopes are gone and he's going to be dying? Do you have the nuts to do that, jokes aside?
Depends how well you know the family, because here's the thing. They actually try to tell doctors to keep the patients at arm's length, because you don't want to get emotionally involved. Otherwise, you are more likely to make bad decisions. So they try not to be connected to the patient or their family. They're going to act very distant. So doctors are trained to deliver that kind of bad news without getting
are you allowed to comfort them or something like that, or just give them a hug? Give them a hug.
I think so.
Give them a shoulder to cry on.
Let me talk.
I'm just saying, you've been talking the entire stream.
Well, because you want me to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put a little input in there, kind of like a talk show. But anyway, go on.
The nurses and the patient care technicians, I believe they do. I believe they're the not only the assistants to the doctors, but the emotional support that the doctor cannot provide.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, as for my job, though, I worked in the kitchen, so I already don't have that much connection with the patients. But the one thing, though, I try to do, at least when I used to deliver food, is that I try to crack a joke. But however, a very tasteful one. Like, if I were to, deliver food to somebody, I look at the name on the tag, and I don't know how to pronounce their name. I would walk in, go, hello, name? They read out the name, and I go, yeah, there was no way I was going to get that.
That's cute.
What's that?
I would have said, I said, yeah, that's cute. I can see that there.
Yeah, and, we even actually had a patient who actually had, 4 consonants in a row, LBVR. And I walk into a room, and I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to try. How do you pronounce that? And laughing, they go, La Berva. I'm like, Quebec? E.
It's a fun word to say, La Berva.
But still, it gets them a bit of a laugh. It's within good taste. It's not offensive, and it kind of perks them up a little bit.
Oh yeah, of
like
course.
I had another patient who the name on the tag was just, or at least the first name was just XO. That was it.
Oh yeah, I heard about people that do that.
Well, here's the thing.
Wait, was part of their name, or was that just the entire tag?
Hold on. Just that was their first name.
Oh, okay.
So look at this thing going, okay, well, sometimes the X gets pronounced as a Z, so it's probably Zo. So it's probably someone of Asian descent.
Or it might be someone like Show, right? Like it's also Show, So, or...
Not to my knowledge.
The X is the most, like, trendiest letter in the entire alphabet, who just wants to have more than one pronunciation.
Well, here's the thing. I pick up the tray, I go in the room, it's a middle-aged white man.
So? And
I go, Zo? And he looks at me and goes, XO. I am so sorry. I was like, oh, don't worry. I like my name. Turns out the poor guy was named after hugs and kisses.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's cute when you're a kid, but when you're like 50 years old.
I mean, like if I had a name, I would you ever want your name to be like a number or something like that? Like you name your kid like 1 or like 13.
No.
Because I can imagine me going to Disney World and having a name tag and it just has the number 1 on there. That would be cool. As a matter of fact, here's my point is, like, if I was actually working as a doctor and I knew I was gonna have to go through that circumstances, I would be the guy that has a cross around his neck, you know, like, just to like give him sympathy, like, you know, if they see me there, I'm like giving like the whole thing, you know.
Dude, if it was knowing you would probably have a cross around your neck, the Star of David on your finger,
what?
And like every other single religious symbol tattooed on your body somewhere.
No. What I would do is I'd probably have one on my fingers. Like, Star of David, cross in the middle finger would be a swastika. like no, the middle finger would be like a pentagram or something.
You know, you'll be like that guy in the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie who encounters the mummy, and he's got like all those religious symbols on his neck. He's like, our Father who art in heaven, like, you're a slave. You would be that guy.
That'd be me. I try to be the guy that doesn't offend anybody. I'm just trying to be that guy that says, "Look, I give you sympathy. I've just converted to some religion. Hail Satan." I mean, just like that. It's just like I said to the thing. Ready? Hail Satan.
And
of course, if I did say that, I'd probably like give me a cross in the thing saying "Forgive me." You know, I'm a religious guy. I'm a Methodist, so.
But one more of the names here, because I thought this was...
I'm like a Catholic guy, only people like me better. Because I care about other people. That probably explains a lot right there.
One more in the names, because I thought this was funny.
Yeah.
I came across someone that had the name Robin Bateman.
Robin Venkman?
It was too easy. I went in her room going, Bateman! And she looks at me and goes... That's not even the first one. I go, what do you mean? She tells me that when she was married to her previous husband, his last name was Bank. Robbing a bank. At least she could actually, she had a sense of humor about her name.
And this was a guy who was dying now? Or was it?
No, this was just a regular patient.
Oh, yeah, of course. I was going to say, if you did that with a dying patient and it actually, like, what were the odds that was going to be a good joke? It's not like you pulled like a Patch Adams. You ever seen that movie?
Yes, I have.
The part where he goes in the guy's room and he's dressed like the angel. Death.
How many attractions?
I feel sad because everybody only knows who Patch Adams is because of that movie.
Which the real Patch Adams hated.
Well, here's the thing. I actually worked with a clown woman. That okay, I'm gonna give you a little confession here later about a mistake I made, maybe, if I can, but anyway, I worked with this girl that was part of an organization called Clowning for Peace, and, what was I gonna say, she, actually did some work with Patch Adams and traveled the world, like to Afghanistan, where she entertained children, and she was a nurse, she was a good girl, her clown theme was beach, so that's what her name was, Beach Clown. Very nice woman. She was a Quaker, so she was really nice, hospitable. And I had to do just some stuff here. I made a slideshow for her out of Premiere and everything like that. Anyway, yeah, she did some work with Patch Adams and actually had some photos of her on set with Robin Williams and everything like that. She said,
that's cool.
yeah. So one of the things when they made the movie was Hunter Adams wanted some really weird stuff involved in the movie. Like he didn't want any of the profits from the movie to go to his hospital. Like I think he wanted like, I apologize if I'm wrong with this. If anybody watching this, he like wanted like people to donate on their own will and not use any of the profits from the movie or something like that. He also didn't want any sex or violence shown in the movie. And that whole thing with like with Doug Walker saying that they changed the woman to a man, the man to a woman, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's usually what adaptations do. Clearly.
But I think with this one they didn't need a romance though. It was already going to be a tragic story.
Yeah, I mean, like if they did, I guess that's a good case right there. But yeah, like when I did this Clue client, it was actually one of the worst things I ever did in my life, and I learned from it badly. I kind of bear in mind when I was back doing stuff back then, I am oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna say this on record. I was breaking. This was my first role, and I was not really into like knowledgeable about how these kinds of things were made. So I overcharged the woman by charging her based on my hours. You know how I like charged you for Hoof Rock based on hours I worked because of how long the video was?
Yeah.
Well, this video was it used the same pictures over and over, and like and I had to choose like 3 different songs using these same pictures more than once. It was crazy. But like the thing was I had to do this, but the problem was that shit. Like I was doing it more as a professional filmmaker, not like a commissioned work artist, because I didn't know how it worked back then. So in the end, I accidentally charged this girl like $500. In the end, it was it was a mistake I made there.
And
but in my defense, some of the stuff there I should put in there. I had to travel a long distance to get there, so I needed gas and like, I mean the last thing. I haven't responded to her. Like a couple of 2 years ago, she sent me an email saying that she heard from other people she could have gotten a lower price and she wanted some money back. My dad kind of told me what to write there. I kind of wrote a respectful letter. Then years later, she said she's thinking about reporting me to like this workers thing, like this media entertainment union or something like that. But look, guys, look. Let me just be real here. This was a mistake I made. Yes, I was a cruel person. And I was kind of like when I was near my loan payment, so I was kind of a desperate guy. Like, I learned from my mistake. I would never do that to people now. I have Justin, I have a reasonable system now, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, like I have a reasonable system now. I would never do that to a person again. I feel bad for doing it to this day. I can't. The thing was, I couldn't give her back her money because I'm going through a lot of stuff right now, and I know that's tough to say. You could probably, if you want to throw that saying that's still unreasonable of me, that's fine. I can understand that, but just with the state I'm in right now, I don't. Even if I was trying to be charitable, and give anything back. It was my fault. I get it, but like I needed the money, and if I did it, it would just make me worse.
How long ago was this?
This was like 4 years ago. But the girl this woman messaged me like 6 months ago, like saying she was going to report me to like this union thing there. But then I looked at the thing she was going to report me to, and she said that, and apparently one of the rules is you can't report someone that was about an incident that occurred more than 6 months prior. So, and this was like years ago when I did it.
But also, you're not a member of this union.
It wasn't a union. It wasn't. I'm not. When I say, I don't know why I keep saying union. I forgot what the thing was called. Like, I don't know what it was called. It was like this organization about people that you can like report people to or something like that. I don't know. Hold on. I guess I could.
Better Business Bureau.
What?
The Better Business Bureau.
Yeah, that was it. The Better Business Bureau.
Okay, but you're not even a business, though. You don't have a business license.
I know, that was the other reason why she couldn't do that. And even if I did, she wouldn't be able to report it because the incident happened like years ago, and it was like past the expiration date of when it would be done. Because like there's a limit of time, like there's a period of time where you can't really report something. Like you can't report.
I'm surprised though she contacted you 6 months ago.
Yeah, it was weird. She like keeps coming back to me. Maybe she was like upset or something like that. It's kind of like when you like message an old friend in the middle of the night and you just want to catch up with them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, let me ask you this: how much would the job would have cost normally?
It would probably have been like $70. But yeah, I overcharged because I was like, I know. Give me the eyes. There you go. Yes, I know. I was a naive guy. I was a naive guy. I didn't know what I was doing. I can admit that. I now know what I'm doing. I'm a professional guy like this. You already admitted my prices right now are reasonable. Well, especially since people I know right there, I'm not that type of person that would do that again. It was a mistake. I admit it, and I can't. But I will admit I can't pay anything back right now. I feel bad that I can't, but I just can't because of my really huge expenses right now. And she's been doing great. I hope she's doing great. She was a nice woman. That's the thing. Let me be honest here. I hate charging for things. Like, one of the things, even though I need the money, I hate asking people for money. Like, if you actually ask Justin, I actually hate asking people for autographs. Because I feel like I'm being a dick. But I know they're just there to give it to him, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was, let me give you another example here. Like, when I was, doing Grand Brony Gala, I was in this room with Kelly Sheridan, the voice of Starlight Glimmer. I got like a selfie with her, like going on with that joke from that one episode we made. So I
got a selfie with Starlight Glimmer.
Yeah, I was trying to sit in there. I wanted to do small talk with her. Like, I didn't want to say don't ask her anything about voice acting. Just please, you won't want a reminder of work. And that's all I could talk about was her past work. And I just wanted to be that guy, like just talking about regular stuff.
For me, when I went to BronyCon. And seeing all the guests they had there, most of them were people that we had worked with previously with the gala, and what I thought was so cool is that they all remembered me.
Well, Kathy did because you worked with her, so yeah.
But no, let's see, we had Kathy, Daniel, the Corlettes, Ian and Claire, the Kriebers, Michelle and Monica, as well as Black Griffin.
Oh yeah, Kelly was there, wasn't she? She was there.
Kelly Sheridan, yeah.
That was one of the things I wanted to say. I would have I regret not making a video message of her saying hi or something like that.
Yeah, because for those of you who don't know, Evan wanted me to play a video message to Kathy Westlock for work she did in anime. What was it again?
She played a Nier in Death Note, and I liked her performance as Nier.
Kathy really appreciated that and got an autograph to go, with it. And Kathy's like, "Oh, that's so sweet of you, Justin." I'm like, "I'm in a position where I can afford it." And for the record, if you're wondering what I mean by that, I sold a bunch of collectible autographs prior to this, so I was in a position to actually, spare $20 for an autograph for a friend. And the one thing that I thought was that gave me a chuckle was I go into the autograph lines, and Kathy was the first one there, so I get in her line, and it's winding down, like I'm like second to next person in line, and she's talking to this person. It's like, trust me, you gotta keep going for it if you want it. Then she looks at me and goes, "Right, Justin?" And I couldn't help but smile and chuckle. But I didn't want to go, "Hey Kathy, it's me," because all these people are there to see her as well. So I did not want to be that obnoxious fanboy.
Oh yeah. It's like me. I can't think of anybody I've met in the past that would probably remember me. Like, every single time I go to a convention, I'm what I like to call the ghost behind the camera, because the guests are always talking to Bruce, but they don't acknowledge me. Except for the guy who voiced Hercule. He acknowledged me and Bruce really well. He really gave me some respect.
But it was just, really just, I thought it was just so cool, the fact that they all remembered me. Yeah, sure, Kathy, because I'd done a couple of voiceover sessions with her. But Kathy, she's active on Twitter because she's so busy, and it allows her to just, pop in, then pop back out. And I have been sending her a few messages. Like, I sent her a Christmas card a couple years ago. I don't know if she ever got it. And whenever I asked her about it on Twitter, I never heard anything. And so I kind of had I had this thought of, okay, did I overstep a line here? So that got me a bit worried. But yeah, Kathy, she did get it. She was very appreciative of it. And she assured me that I didn't, overstep any line. And then I told her that when the shooting happened in Orlando, I sent her an email telling her that everybody in the gala or who worked for the gala was safe, but they had friends who did not make it.
Yeah, I was one of them, I believe. Well, not me. It was a friend of my stepmom or something like that. I had a video that was made on my thing, change.mp4.
So, and not so fun fact, that shooter went to my high school. I am not making this up.
Are you fucking...
The guy was in my yearbook.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Do you have a yearbook with you?
Not with me, no. But my friend Jonathan, who I think you've met, the real big tall guy.
Go on.
He pulls out his yearbook and sends a picture of it, like, dude, that's him from, Martin County. That's the school we went to.
You can't be serious. That's really... Are you being serious?
Yeah, dude, I am not joking. This is one of the few times I am legitimately not joking.
God, this is like one of those streams where I'm glad we only have 3 people watching us, honestly. Like, I've already said you've said one thing, well, that doesn't really affect you, but still could be considered, like, whoa. Like, probably imagine, like, if hundreds of people are watching this and, like, there's a newscast in the next room trying to get information for a documentary or something like that.
Believe me, it is freaky. I do get it.
And then the next day I get, like, a lawsuit
now,
letter.
keep in mind, though, I did not know this person. I was not aware of him. I mean, you don't know everybody who goes to your high school. And so that was definitely, creepy for me. But I sent Kathy an email, and I didn't hear back from her. And again, I thought, okay, did I overstep a line here? Because just because you're taking voice lessons from a professional voice actor, this doesn't mean you're friends. It's a student-teacher relationship, and you need to keep it that way. So I was trying to make sure that I maintained that line. I didn't know if I overstepped it by doing this. But she assured me that I didn't. She was very sorry that people who worked for the gala lost friends that day, and
I mean, like,
how rough things have been. Because I told her, well, that she asked me, "Oh, Justin, how have things been?" I said, "Rough." She's like, "Oh no, what happened?" I told her, everything that happened with me personally, and she felt horrible. And then as soon as I got done with her, I went over to see Daniel Ingram next because, I'm the music guy, and the music and ponies got me back into music. And I told him the exact same thing, and he looked at me and goes, "How do you keep yourself going?" And this may seem extremely sappy, but I mean every word of it. When he goes, "How do you keep yourself going?" I said, "Seeing you again helps." And he was rather touched by that. So much so that when I had him sign my It's a Pony Kind of Christmas booklet, he actually wrote down "Hope Shines Eternal," which
nice.
was so which is the song that gets played at the end of Legend of Everfree. So he basically dedicated that to me.
That's nice.
At least
you told the story, yeah. Brian, you missed a lot. You missed absolutely a lot. Apparently, the shooter from the Pulse nightclub in Orlando went to Justin's school at one point during the same time he was there, and also I told this story about the controversial payment I gave this woman, but we made up for it. I mean, it wasn't he. That doesn't mean anything for Justin, and I made a mistake that I made a mistake too. But yeah. Speaking of which, I got a message. I got some updates here from Bright Idea, by the way. As you know, you probably know this already. When I make a video, in this case Whirl, I have to plan out my week each week. Here, I'm gonna give you a little behind the scenes action right here. I got this book right here. This is my planner book. Here, Justin, learn something. This is my planner book where I literally document every single week. Quite literally, every week I have right now is documented of what I gotta do for the next 2 weeks. So I literally have to write down what I gotta do. In this case, example, when I was doing Whirl, I gotta do a certain day of when I gotta do the characters. If I can't make it that day, I have an alternate time I gotta do it. In this case, I'm behind on making the character models, but I was able to get everything done. So Bright Ideas is making a new video. I'm telling her, not gonna tell you what it is, but I was telling her, and she said that she was kind of having a hard time getting it out. So I was talking to her, and I think Justin already knows where this is going. Justin?
I'm listening.
Oh, I thought you were gone. So he says, well, I can give you some help here. I told her how I like planned out my week. She's like, I wish I could plan out stuff like you really have a thing going down. So I told her, here, let me give you some tips here. Like, what are your weeks like, and when do you get off? And like saying, you gotta learn how to not keep yourself distracted, and keep your mind on the goal. Looking forward to doing what you're doing. And she's doing a collab with somebody where I told her to edit what she can get done. So as well as when you make a video, you have to have two things in mind. Either figure out what you want to get done that day, or how much of something you're going to get done that day. Like when I was editing the sitting for Whirl, you probably know this already. I told you when I was editing for Whirl, I had to do like 5 minutes of that video a day or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did like that, and I was telling her, I'm like, oh, and she came back to me a week later saying, I followed your advice. I kind of had a hard time doing it. And I'm saying to myself, okay, you want me to give you the straight line on this one just to make things easier for you? And she's like, yeah, sure, okay. You have till Thanksgiving to release this video. I just say that to her straight on. And I tell her and I give her some pointers of what to do in dividing time, how to kind of like distinct yourself from distractions. And Saturday she gives me this message. You don't mind if I read this?
Why would I mind?
I don't know. I want you to have some voice in here. I mean, like, I don't want to be the guy that's taken over.
Go ahead, dude. I've been talking a lot.
Right there. She wrote down, this is Bright Ideas. Hey, Evan, great news. I finally finished all the character animation in my video project, and I have the video clips and stills to take care of. I wanted to thank you for being such a motivator this month. I don't think I would have gotten so far so soon without your time management advice, and for making me choose a deadline. Hope your own Whirl project is going well. She would later send her the final lines needed for Whirl. I guess I could give you that behind the scenes stuff for the episode. You don't think I'm giving away spoilers if I tell her what the technique I'm doing with her and cell specs or anything like that?
Not really. You're telling them about how it's being made, not so much the story.
Like for the thing is, as you know, when you saw the trailer, Bright Ideas is possessed. Actually, maybe I might be giving away too much there actually, because in the trailer I didn't specifically say who she's possessed by.
I thought you were just talking about what it was like making the characters.
Oh yeah, making the characters? That was a bitch. I'm not even done yet.
He sent me my character, and honestly, the eyes looked a little derpish.
They were actually looking. Yeah, I just had to lower them a bit. But like, I'm not gonna bring them up right now. But yeah, learning Illustrator. I'm gonna tell you a story. Okay. I apologize. I apologize if I did this last week. Justin, you're gonna think this is either stupid or hilarious. Okay. So I was looking around to see who knew how to use Illustrator because I didn't know for the life of me how to do it. And I'm like putting on there saying, Illustrator, why the hell do you want to not work with me? And the person who responds is Rainbro, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, well, you just gotta do this. He's like, well, you just gotta do this and just do that thing. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? And he's like, what? I'm like, I've been asking artist friends of mine about how to do something specific in Illustrator. None of them have been helping me, and the guy who I know barely does anything art-wise knows what to do. He's like, yeah, man. My immediate response is, I have no son. I have no absolute son. My sensei is a lie. Yeah, he's my commute. What the hell is that?
VR goggles.
Oh my god, you fell into that craze.
Well, no, these were a Christmas present.
It's November.
But speaking of VR, for those, I think I said this before, but I went to a live podcast of Jay and Silent Bob Get Old.
Oh yeah, that's right.
One thing that they actually talked about at the end of the podcast was...
This is funny.
Wait a second.
The VR...
Oh.
The VR podcast.
Yeah, someone actually brought Kevin Smith in to discuss possibilities for, stuff for the whole VR trend. And Jason, he was like, dude, like, you know what they could possibly do? Like, they could have, like, a VR of them seeing us at the podcast. And I was like, no one wants a VR experience of seeing two old dudes talking.
I would. I mean, like, I would love... If you were in the audience, maybe that would be cool. But then again, you'd have to have, like, 360-degree cameras on, like, certain seats and everything.
But then suddenly, they were talking to Kevin, like, here, try this and see if, anything comes up, something you would do with this technology. And so
wait for the whale.
Yeah, and there's a
wait
sperm
for the
whale,
whale.
like an inch away from his face, and he's stiff as a board, like, what do I do? What do I do? And he's like, oh wait, I can just close my eyes.
Oh, Kevin, apparently he's a Rick and Morty fan. Who knew?
Yeah, in fact, I think that was the guy who brought him in.
Oh yeah, Justin Roiland. Yeah, that was it, Justin Roiland.
And but they asked Kevin, like, what do you have in mind for something like this? And he goes, Jay and Silent Bob. And he goes, you know that? He goes, motherfucker, I am Silent Bob.
He didn't know he was. I don't remember that.
Well, whoever he was speaking to, because there was more than one person in the room.
I don't know. If they make a second Jay and Silent Bob movie, I don't even know how it will be. It'll probably suck, but yeah.
Well, they said what it's going to be, and they're making it.
I know. Oh, I know that. I like Kevin Smith's work. I mean, I liked Jay and Silent Bob movie. I thought some stuff was funny, but just like kind of like the Saw franchise or something like that, there's still like Clerks 2, Mallrats, Dogma, and all this stuff are technically still not that good of movies. They made me laugh. It's like one of those things like I want to watch in my downtime just for a laugh, kind of like the Star Wars prequels or something like that.
Well, this is basically what Kevin Smith came up with for the VR headset. Was the characters can obviously talk to you, but you can't talk to the characters. So he was thinking it would be Jay and Silent Bob's weed shop, and you would play as Silent Bob because he doesn't talk.
There you go.
And show you this wall of different types of weed, and whichever one you would smoke would take you on a different trip.
There you go. That's a good creative idea, actually.
Yeah, because the way how Kevin Smith sees these things is that he does not see them as a video game experience. He sees them as more of a experience that you would have at an amusement park.
That's the thing. Like, Kevin Smith, to me, didn't really seem much as a gamer to me. He's
not really, no.
He's like a comic nerd.
But they do know that intellectual properties can go pretty far, and...
Yeah, look what happened to Rick and Morty.
Mm-hmm. So, and they have their own little VR experience thing, too. I
want to play it so bad.
And so, I'm curious to see if that's going to happen. But as far as the podcast goes, they were talking about how they were rather poor. Okay, they had it was a single salary house. His dad worked for the post office and made like $20,000 a year, and even in 1970s dollars that was bad. But his mom really knew how to stretch a dollar, so they would go to Disney World.
Oh, you told the story already. Yeah, go ahead, just ballpark it.
Basically, they were able to actually get all the expensive stuff from the gift shop, and they never figured out why. Turns out they were stealing it.
Yeah, they said they were gonna send the check later or something like that.
Yeah, Disney when they got home. And he didn't realize this till he was 29 years old.
Yeah, he still told Disney.
And also, Jay, at the end of every podcast, or Jason Mewes, I still like to call him Jay just because it's easier, he tells a sex story that he has with his wife. Now, first of all, he's been sober for 7.5 years, so great for him.
Yeah, let me just put it like this way. When I heard him speaking there, I thought he was still high. I like Jason Mewes, but literally the entire podcast, I felt like he was, and before he said he was off to do the drugs for 7 years, I felt like he sounded like he was stoned off his mind.
I think that's just how he talks, to be honest.
His Jersey accent.
But he was talking about how he was getting ready to do this tour, and he has his own man cave, like a lot of adult men do, especially when they're married. And his wife does not like going in there, at all.
Wait, can we tell the story?
What?
You sure the story won't be too dirty for him?
Considering what we already do on Mystery Brony Theater, I think it's going to be fine. Point is that he goes in there and he's like, "Come on, I'm about to leave on this tour. Let's do it. Let's make love in here." And finally, she just caves like, "Oh, all right." So I get into position. I'm like, half hole, half hole. Oh, guys, follow my leader. And he was but they were doing this on a futon, and it flips back. And when it flips back, she knocks over his Lego Ewok village.
Oh yeah, I can't believe he's into Legos, honestly.
I think it's basically a good hobby to keep yourself occupied, to keep your mind off of drugs.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I have like Legos with me still.
And finally, his wife's like, "Ow, ow! What is this? What is that?" He reaches down, pulls out. Sure enough, Lego Darth Vader. He's like, "The Force is strong with this one."
If you want to do something there, one thing my dad recommends that Kevin Smith should make a movie about is his essay, "Me and My Shadow." You ever heard about that thing he wrote?
No, I have not.
It was "Me and My Shadow" is this. It's one of the longest thing he wrote in one of his book, My Boring Ass Life. It's a according to what I'm reading here, it's about him dealing with his friendship with Jason Mewes and his massive drug addiction, and what he was drugs he was on during Dogma, and like how he had the crazy stuff he did to get weed and everything like that. So yeah, it's, if there's any movie I want to see, there's always that. Like one of the things I like about the Clerks movies is the behind the scenes stuff, such as the Snowball Effect documentary that he made. You have to watch. That's a good feature. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I have actually.
It's good.
It is, and for those of you who saw Clerks 2, when I was watching the behind the scenes feature on that, Jay actually says he likes how Kevin sneaks in stuff that actually happened into his movies. So if you remember in Clerks 2, Jay brings up how they were pulled over for suspicion of mischief because they were driving around with deployed airbags. That actually happened.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do that for Mystery Brony Theater with the duct tape gag, like from the last episode.
The duct tape gag?
Yeah, when you said you could make things out of duct tape from a Buckman horse speaker.
My friend Bill, yeah.
Yeah. You should tell Bill to do like one podcast with just a horse head on, with like a horse mask on, just call him that the entire time.
I would love. I fucking love Bill. He's such a character to be around.
He is a character. Well, he's a character. I'll say that.
And he taught me a lot about making videos and the process. It's really cool to say that I get to say that I know him.
Oh yeah, I hear that.
And
you know a lot of people. I mean, like, I only know like very few. For me, it's like
the little baby from Manos.
So what? That's still a treasure to me that I actually came across someone who actually was on that set. So yeah.
But
from a very abysmal, mysterious
movie. The one movie that Evan and I are really looking forward to seeing, The Disaster Artist.
Yeah, The Disaster Artist has to. I don't know what it's gonna be like, but it just has to have some sort of Oscar for it. Just something.
Well, I do know that the book that Greg wrote did win an award.
Yeah, of course. The best part is Tommy Wiseau can't do shit about it because he actually has a cameo in there somewhere.
Tommy does?
Yeah, Tommy and Sestero have a cameo in the movie.
I knew Greg did, but I didn't know about Tommy.
Let me take a look. Let me take a quick look. The Disaster Artist film. Let me see. Like, when is it coming out? December?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good poster. I heard Seth Rogen's supposed to be in there. He's gonna be Pumbaa.
Seth Rogen, yeah, I believe he's playing Sanders Sinclair, who was the script supervisor.
I used to be a script supervisor.
And it's funny. Along with that, there's also another movie that's finally being released.
Okay.
Called.
There's that. Here it is. There's actually a lot of cameos that are going to be in this. You want me to read them off?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Bryan Cranston, Zach Braff, J.J. Abrams, David Dakota, Lizzie Kaplan, Kristen Bell, Keegan-Michael Key. What? Adam Scott, Danny McBride, Judd Apatow, and Angeline as themselves. Greg Sestero appears as a casting agent, and Tommy Wiseau in a post-credit scene as Henry. So I guess he's going to be somewhere in there as a guy named Henry.
Oh, I think Henry was someone who was documenting behind the scenes stuff for the actual movie of The Room.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
What is that gonna be like? Like, what was he, like a historian or something like that, or?
I don't know, but another movie about The Room that's finally being released is called Room Full of Spoons.
Yeah, we heard about that. Is Tommy doing anything responding to that or anything like that?
I don't know. For those of you that are not familiar, there was a guy who's a big super fan of the film, and he wanted to make a documentary about it and about Tommy. And at first, he teamed up with Tommy. He was willing to do this, but then Tommy wanted to take it off in its own direction, kind of worshiping his ass. But that's not what he wanted to do, so he pulled from the project. They did a Kickstarter and raised the remaining funds. They made the movie. They finished it. They were about to take it to film festivals to get screened, and Tommy stopped them at every single one, saying, this is infringing copyright. Ha, I sue you. What a story. And rather than fighting it, the film festivals just said, okay, we're just not going to air it. And Tommy even released these really pitiful shame on you videos on YouTube. And that actually, he claims that it was supposed to be tongue in cheek, but I'm not buying this at all. But finally,
I mean, I will admit, the one thing they said, they followed him and everything like that. That was that you said they documented behind his back when he didn't even know or something like that.
Not exactly.
You said at one point they kind of quit after they saw him after they snuck footage of him in a cemetery or something like that. When the guys are saying, "Okay, I think we went too far on this one."
No, they didn't get footage of him in a cemetery. They got footage of themselves in a cemetery.
Where they were following him, right? They were following him somewhere.
Oh, they were not following him. I mean, Tommy claimed that they was using, copyrighted images, but the judge said no, that they weren't. They were completely within, their rights.
In other words, Tommy is probably shouting, "Everybody's betrayed me" at the end of that hearing. Hey, you all betray me.
I'm fed up with this world.
What was the thing? Tommy Wiseau actually did another movie. I remember that. It was a documentary. It was called Homeless in America.
Yeah, that I can't find anywhere.
Yeah, it has 3.6 stars out of 10 on IMDb, and it was directed by Tommy Wiseau, which is weird because, let me put it like this: it's really hard to screw up a documentary because you have to when you write a documentary, you write what is called a treatment plan, right? The treatment is it's basically saying what the goal of the documentary is. What are you trying to teach? What is the thing you're trying to say here, and what's this, and how is the story going to support it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm it's not telling a story. It's trying to throw kind of like a goal in there of what what the goal of the documentary is trying to do. You can't just say the goal is to tell a story about a guy. No, you need a goal in there. It's kind of hard to explain. So when you direct, that's kind of like writing a documentary. Usually you write dialogue in there to fill in some stuff for history aspects. And when you direct a documentary, here's what a director does, okay? A director's main job when filming a documentary is he's the guy that asks the questions. Whenever you ask, and this is an important lesson for you as an viewer. So that's why when you do your interviews, you're technically the director of it because you're asking the questions. One of the first things as the when you interview someone is you have to say the following thing. I'm going to ask you these questions here. Please try to leave the answer in with your. Please try to work to leave the question into your answer. So that way it kind of because when you're directing it, you can't have the director say the question in documentary, right?
Wait, say this again.
Okay. When you make a documentary, you've seen documentaries, right?
Yes.
And when they're interviewing people, you don't hear them being asked the question. Usually it's a text box or something like that.
Yeah.
That's because when you're filming a documentary, the people are looking to the side. They're looking at the director. Because it's the director's job to ask them the questions. When the director, before the thing begins, when the director, or usually when it does begin, or they ask the first question, one of the important things when you're asking a person a question is try to leave the question in with your answer. So that way they can edit it in and know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
and it also is and it's more convenient for the viewers. Remember that when you're interviewing someone, trying to say that they're try to leave the question in with your answer. So wait.
Now,
but let me guess, you're gonna try and disagree with me in some sort of way, are you?
no, I'm just saying we reached the final 5.
What? Oh yeah, it is the final 5. You're doing my job of looking stuff there. Okay, you got the floor. You're always the first.
I'm just really looking forward to finally having some my friends and colleagues that I've grown to know and somewhat love. I'm not gonna say completely from the gala over in my neck of the woods. Now we're not exactly gonna be hanging out or anything because we do have work to do.
No, so it's not me.
It's going to at least be fun. I'm really looking forward to making this. And I do have another episode of Hoof Rock lined up, but it looks like the guy who I was going to collab with is busy. So I'm just going to go with another song. It's actually going to be 2 songs in one because 2 songs appear in this episode. And it's going to be Spectacle and I Am Just a Pony.
Okay. Let me guess, you're going to compare them in some way.
It's going to be to kind of show how a pop song, like a standard pop song, is written compared to an actual song with feeling and emotion and depth is written.
That's fine. I'll see what I can do in December. I'm going to be busy on December, but I'll see what I can do. Apologize, I'm a little slow. So I guess that means me. I'm sorry, go on. What were you going to say?
No, I was about to say you're now you.
This is going to be one shit week at the Magic Kingdom for work for me. November, Thanksgiving. What?
He's pregnant.
No, I didn't say that. Like I said, it gets crowded on Thanksgiving, and I'm going to be friggin' pissed off because I have work to do, and I'm behind on as is. Not to mention, I gotta make a website in 3 weeks. I have to make site maps and everything. It's like crazy. It's going to be the preview for Shade Site Studios website, which I have learned to hard code videos into a website. So yeah, maybe later if I can get Shade Site Studios running, then yeah. Because here's what I said here. When I was doing my final project for school, one of the things is I got to make a web page about myself, and that was my goal to begin with because I wanted to make a web page that centered around me because I'm trying to turn Shade Site Studios into like a multi-producer group, kind of. You know what I mean? I mean Justin's already a producer on it, so yeah. And you know,
and there's even actually a series I do want to produce for it called Pony Positives.
Yeah, despite me trying to find something to do on the site that's not Pony recently, but like no offense, I mean like I'm for that, but like you know I'm trying to look for more of a variety sometimes. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying I hate the pony stuff, but like well, you know what I'm trying to say, right? I'm looking for more variety.
I think it would be something for the Mystery Brony Theater channel, if anything.
No, I'm trying to look for something for like, well, maybe not the channel, but like I'm looking for something that. Oh, wait, you're saying you were doing something for that?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying that's what I was looking for. Like I said, I can do it, but the catch for that is I'll make you a deal, okay? I will let you do that, but here's the catch. You gotta edit it.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Blow me.
You know.
Anyway,
let me answer. Wait, I'm going to make this interesting. Tell me what a crossfade is.
Crossfade? That's a band.
Tell me what a crossfade is in terms of editing.
That's actually an effect, I believe, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, it is. It's right on my iMovie.
No.
Right there on my eye.
It's not an effect. Dude.
Well, that's what the effect is called in this.
No. It's a transition. And before you say anything, just for the record here, a transition and effect are 2 different things. You can no matter how much you argue about it, it's a fact. I'm sorry. Saying the guy who knows his. What?
So it's an effect.
No, an effect is something you add. An effect is something that you use to enhance a movie using visual styles and different digital effects. A transition is something that moves the scene along. That's like saying a star wipe. That's like saying a star wipe's an effect, or like a parting screen's an effect.
It technically is, man.
It isn't.
So let's enjoy some crossfade then. Why don't we?
Let's not because you're gonna get me copyright here. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night. You're a fucking idiot.